Kwa majina naitwa Nancy Warima Moge na mimi ni chairperson of community team. Community team is a model under the PROACT project that is implementing interventions on preventing and countering violent extremism. We mostly think of terrorism as something that happens nationally, affects maybe the big cities, but we see that all other what we call push and pull factors that contribute to violent extremism happen at the county levels. We see the recruitment being done at the county level. The issue of countering violent extremism has really not been mainstreamed in our engagements, especially at the county level. We see most of the times the people who are acting on these efforts are national government officials, starting with the Provincial Administration Office of the County Commissioner, maybe NCTC and so on and so forth, the National Police Service and so on and so forth. But we wanted even our county governments to be part and parcel of this exercise because these things affect our county majorly. And we thought, as the people of Isiolo who are doing this work, the best thing is to ensure that our county takes it up as one of the key issues, as one of the key agenda. And that's why we came up with a memorandum of understanding that we have presented to our county government to ensure that it establishes a directorate of PCV. And by ensuring that the directorate of PCV is established under the Department of Peace and Cohesion, we are talking about our county being actively involved in the work to end violent extremism. And we're also talking about resource allocation. We're talking about several things. We have had very positive commitments, and we hope that our county will take it up. And our governor, we know that he's very conversant with issues of PCV as the former majority leader of Nairobi County, of which Nairobi County has now enacted an act. It was formerly a bill, an act, but an act that is for PCV. We are hoping that the same will happen.
Isiolo Peacelink today is hosting a number of organizations across the country for the PCV Inter-County Exchange Forum, bringing on board expertise and experiences across the country in terms of guiding a legislative framework for the counties to be able to undertake functions under the prevention of violent extremism space. So issues around violent extremism is very contextualized, and each county has their own contextual underpinnings that might act as drivers or increase the vulnerabilities of young people to radicalization and recruitment. And therefore, each county has the potential to address the issue of violent extremism with regards to the vulnerabilities that are very unique to the different counties. So, for example, Isiolo, the push and pull factors in Isiolo might be quite different from those in Kwale. And therefore, the county has a mandate in terms of addressing these vulnerabilities that range from issues of unemployment, poverty, upskilling young people, issues of propagating alternative narratives to those that are being issued by violent extremist groups. And therefore, the need to work with counties brings in the contextualization aspect, which is key in the implementation of prevention to violent extremism activity.
The model is being developed by the National Counter-Terrorism Center in collaboration with other partners, including Isiolo Peacelink, the Strong Cities Network, the Reinvent Program, among many other actors and partners. This model comes at a time when we require a legislative peace at the county assemblies level to help the county government to find a quick fix for the issue of prevention and countering violent extremism. As you know, in Kenya, the issue of youth radicalization and violent extremism has been the biggest challenge. We have come from a background, specifically in Mandera, where we could not talk about those issues at some point. But I must mention today and congratulate the former governor of Mandera, His Excellency Ali Ibrahim Roba, for taking initiatives in terms of coming out, mobilizing his executive and his county government budget resources to ensure that the issue of prevention and countering violent extremism takes good shape. The development of the county action plans and the implementation in Mandera has been successful. And the former governor had created an entire department led by a chief officer, and they have really done good work, and that's why the reason why Mandera is one of the champions of prevention and countering violent extremism. This model, once the penal beating is done, once it meets all the other legal regulations, I think should be a big step in the fight against terrorism and prevention and countering violent extremism. This requires now the support of everybody and all the stakeholders, including political goodwill and leadership, and that will be able to lead this country to greater height in terms of peace and stability. There are numerous factors in which many people will ask, why are our youth getting radicalized? Why are we involving themselves? There are many reasons, and the reason why in the CAPs there are different pillars. Those pillars are mostly the functions of county. 75% of the CAPs pillars are functions of the county government. This includes, the education pillar, the political pillar, the economic pillar, the religious pillar. All these things are functions at the county level. 75% of the CAPs are functions of the county government level. So what the county governments now are engaged in is creating opportunities for the youth so that they do not have that space of joining violent extremism. That the youth are engaged, trained, given life skills, and provided with initial capitals to either start business or develop other skills to enable them to make a living. As the saying goes, an idle mind is devil's workshop. So for that matter, all the county governments should involve more resources in intending to create TVETs, intending to create equipments for specialized skills, in trying to sponsor the youth in having different specialities in terms of either education or mason work. And at the end of the day, once our youth are engaged, we are also secure as a society and as
because as a county we have lost many youth to terrorism. We have suffered the brunt of terrorism. At some point, the whole government was focused to ensure because of the number of youth which were recruited by terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab, and in the process many innocent members of the community were also unfairly targeted in the process. So as a community, we don't want to face such a scenario again. As a county assembly, we are going to support every initiative aimed at discouraging our youth from joining terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab. We want a peaceful county. We want our economy to thrive. We don't want to live in fear. We don't want to be associated with such a notorious gang. We want to be a peace-loving and secure community. We really encourage them, to hasten the process and cooperate with the stakeholders so that this thing is realized in good time. It has more benefits than harm.
Ndugu yangu, kwani hizi app za loans natakaje ndio wanipe loan?
Sasa nikuulize ndugu yangu, unataka kufanya nini yodo?
Nataka expand business, nitaka gari nyingine.
Sasa bro, acha nikueleze. Kuna app inaitwa VIP. Unaona sasa, ukiwa na hii app, ni app yenye inakusaidia kumanage busy yako. Sasa wewe kama mse wa taxi, ukimanage transactions zako through VIP for the next 3 months, unaweza get access to loan.
Alright.
Na pia kulingana na design yenye unakopa na unalipa hiyo loan, wanaweza kupatia pia access to a better handsome amount ya loan. Unanipata ndugu yangu?
Nakupata. Hiyo kwanza iko verified.
Kabisa. Sasa download VIP leo na uexpand busy yako in the next 3 months, au sio?
Kabisa bana, hata niweke sahi.